Hello everybody, and here are the appendix slides for chapter 3. So these appendix slides, remember, give some further elaboration to what we're looking at. So let's say supply shifts left for lettuce because weather destroys part of the crop. Now, if supply changes, that doesn't necessarily mean demand will. Consumers will still want as much lettuce as before, and remember, as a consequence, if you have less supply and equal demand, price is going to rise. And what we see here is supply is going far to the right and demand. So let's say supply shifts right for pink salmon. Maybe we have new fishing technology or new fisher people enter the industry. And demand shifts left as well. Increase in income causes less demand for canned salmon. So what can happen with a case supply is going far to the right and demand is pulling in? So as a consequence, you're going to re-find equilibrium at a much lower price right here. Now we can look at gasoline as well. So let's say the supply of gasoline goes down, and we saw this last summer. So it could be from refinery breakdowns or politics in places like the Mideast or oil-producing nations, rising oil prices. But you could also get an increase in demand. So summer driving season, better incomes, low-mileage trucks and SUVs become more popular. And as a consequence, we wind up in this situation. Demand of gasoline is kicking out to the right. Supply is going to pull into the left, and your price is going to rise as a consequence. Anytime you have less supply and more demand, by rule, you're going to get a higher price. And the other point I want to look at here is what is known as a vertical supply curve. And vertical supply curves generally pertain to real estate. Think of apartments in New York City, for instance. A vertical supply curve means the supply doesn't change. The only thing that can change is demand. One thing we will go through in this class, the supply of anything can change given a long enough amount of time, but at least in the short run, the amount of apartments and homes that are for rent and sale really aren't going to change. That's just what there is. So the price is going to be dependent on how many people want to live in the area we're looking at. Quantity supplied is fixed and unresponsive to price changes. And if we get more demand, meaning more people want to move to, in this case, San Francisco or New York City or wherever we're looking at, price will rise, quantity won't change. If, like we saw during COVID, when people were leaving big cities, demand will decrease, causing prices to fall, but quantity also, once again, stays the same. And this generally explains why are real estate prices so high in cities. So if we look here, this is a vertical supply curve. The supply of homes and apartments are not going to change. That's why it's a straight vertical line. And the only thing that can change is the demand. As demand kicks out to the right, as you can see, equilibrium price is going up. So anytime you have a vertical curve, what it means is you have a situation where the overall supply is not going to change. You can also run into a situation with preset prices. And preset prices can cause inefficiencies or market imbalances. So in the case of the Olympics, the ticket prices are preset. And they don't really differ based on whatever event we're looking at. So the Olympic figure skating finals, which is a very popular event, your preset price here is going to result in a shortage of tickets. So figure skating is a really popular event. Your preset price is going to be cheap, and as a consequence, it's going to sell out. But something like the initial round of curling, I don't know if any of you guys are fans of curling, but that's when they use the brooms and the big stones on ice. Curling's pretty boring, and as a consequence, preset prices would result in a big surplus of tickets. No one would want to pay the preset price there. So when it comes to preset prices, you wind up in a situation where you can have tickets priced too high, so you have surpluses, and tickets priced too low, where you'll have shortages. And we can look here at the ticket market or what we're describing. So for the figure skating tickets, your preset price is far below where equilibrium should be. So you wind up with a big shortage. Basically, it works the same as a price floor like we covered in our chapter, only it's not the government mandating it, it's whatever the ticket company is. And on the right, for curling, we wind up with a big surplus because the preset price is a lot higher than where the equilibrium price should be. And in effect, it is the same as a price floor. The figure skating example would be a price ceiling. The curling example would be a price floor. So remember, you can't go through the ceiling, that's your figure skating example, or fall through the floor, that's your curling example. So very similar to what we saw in the actual chapter. And what would generally happen here? Well, in the case of the curling event, you'll just have tons of excess tickets that probably get given away for free or just unutilized. In the case of the figure skating example, you'll probably get illegal reselling for many greatly inflated values. We see this with really popular concerts as well. Look at the whole fiasco that happened recently with the Taylor Swift concerts. Tickets where they were selling for much lower than they were worth, and then people were reselling them for thousands of dollars online. So anytime you have preset prices, it generally stops the market from acting efficiently, and you wind up once again in situations where you can get shortages or surpluses, both of which are negative economically. And that's going to take us to the end of the appendix slides.